What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we are kicking off summer, because it is now officially summer, with Steven Spielberg's Jaws from 1975. And Jaws is iconic, right? Like in at this point, right, it is almost 50 years old, right? Like next year I think is 50 years, which is insanity. And this movie holds up so well, and the only thing that doesn't really hold up well is the shark itself, and that's mostly because we know what sharks look like now. Like I would assume in 75, sure, people had seen sharks and sure, people had been eaten by sharks on beaches and stuff, but I'm positive that we did not know the size of sharks, and that's why Jaws was so terrifying, because this ginormous shark was attacking people. Now, we know today that sharks are less likely just to randomly attack people, but it still happens every now and again to surfers or people, you know, that have been attacked by sharks. And thanks to Shark Week, we know a lot of those people's stories, how it happened, the locations they happened, why things might be reoccurring. Is there a killer Jaws out on the loose? Is it different sharks, or is it just one shark going on a killing spree like Jaws, you know? And I would assume that Jaws, the movie, sparked this shark research, and also sparked people like myself that are terrified of sharks, you know, like terrified of the ocean because of sharks, you know, like. But Steven Spielberg's kind of a genius, because this movie has two real big things going for it. One, that score, that bump, you know, a little get your ass with the shark jaws. But you know, I thought about it more and more. I was like, this is really right. Sure, he's Steven Spielberg, so he has these shots at the beginning of the movie in the town and on the beach, and he's got a bunch of extras in the scenes. But really what this movie is three guys on a boat hunting down a massive shark. So really, you know, like, crew-wise, it had to have just been the camera operators, the people operating the shark, and then these guys on a boat, right? So really it was Roy Scheider, Police Chief Martin Brody, Robert Shaw playing Quint, which is one of the best parts in this movie. He's just, you know, the nails on the chalkboard, you know, like he's iconic character, and he's the person that's gonna hunt down the shark. But spoiler alert for a nearly 50-year-old movie, he don't make it. But then Richard Dreyfuss, Hopper, he does make it, even though we think he might not. And then all of a sudden he pops up, and him and Brody there having a nice little laugh together at the end of the movie. And, you know, we're really not sure if the shark's dead or alive, but we know that he hit the shot and blew the thing up. So it's probably dead, but then there's also Jaws 2, 3, 4. So comment below if you want me to continue on the Jaws franchise and continue on my rewatch. But I gave this movie 4.5 out of 5 stars, about a 9 out of 10. And the 1.5 star that I deducted was for the point of the technology today would be able to do a shark probably easier, and it would probably look better. But I think it's iconic, man. Like that prosthetic shark coming up out of the water, crushing the boat, you know, like just being such a massive shark. And the quotable lines, like Shaw goes, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," you know, like, yeah, or Brody, whatever, Schneider, Roy, you know, like, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." And then he's like talking shit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna chum these waters. How about you come and get in these waters?" And then the shark pops up, and he's smoking a cigarette. Like, it's so iconic to its time, right? Like, it feels so very 1970s, you know, early 80s, the vibe of movies back then, and they just weren't made like they are today. And you know, shout out Steven Spielberg. To me, I think he's probably my favorite director of all time. He just has so many classics in movies that you go, "Oh, he did this? Oh, of course it's going to be a banger." And then it always is. He always does a great job. So, you know, I'll bow down to the master, Mr. Spielberg. You are definitely amongst the best filmmakers of all time. You know, I would throw in a Tarantino, a Scorsese as well in that, because I like their films. But they're very different films than a Spielberg. Spielberg's, he takes you on an adventure, where Scorsese puts you into an era like a mobster, you know, gangster era, and it's really, really good. I even like Scorsese's most recent film, the Killers of the Flower Moon. He puts you in that era of not necessarily Italian gangsters and mob members, but these terrible people and what they're doing to the Seminoles or whatever Native American tribe that they were just fucking over, and people were dying left and right, and it didn't seem like, you know, natural causes, but they kept saying, oh, natural causes, 24, 25, come on, that's not when normal people die, and they're losing all their money and all their property to their husbands that happen to be some random white guy they met. Like, it was a little suspicious. So I actually like that story quite a bit, but, you know, most of his stuff is more gangster stuff. And then Tarantino, I mean, what can you really say about him? His stuff is just so crazy and out there that you're like, I've never seen anything like this, and that's why you love Tarantino. But Jaws, for me, gets a 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5 stars. What would you give Jaws? Most people probably giving it about 4 stars, 5 stars, you know? So I'm curious to see what you guys think of this, but I love this poster too. This poster of the 3 guys on the boat, and this like giant cloud storm is coming up overhead like it is the shark. That's a great poster. But also the billboard down by the beach, a mini island. Help, shark! Somebody like graffitied it to be sharks, and they're like, we gotta close the beach. We've never closed the beach. I'm telling you to close the fucking beach. You know, like it's a small town community type thing. But I think the original poster for Jaws is so iconic. The woman swimming, and then just this giant shark head coming up underneath it. Like, doesn't get much better than that. And then just the title, Jaws. You know, like it wasn't shark attack. You know, it was Jaws, and you're like, wait, what is Jaws about? I know it's about a big shark. You know, like big old sharky teeth. Like, oof. Oof. I know I wouldn't want to be in the water with that thing, but comment below, do you like sharks? Do you like Shark Week? What's your favorite Spielberg movie? Did you like this movie? What's your score? You gave it out of 5 stars. If you'd like to follow me on my other social medias, look for the link down in the description below. You can follow me on everywhere, Letterboxd, check out my other movie reviews, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. Just look me up. Tomorrow, Comically Boston podcast are going to be coming out, and then another episode, 2 episodes tomorrow of Comically Boston. The first episode is going to come out in the morning. That's going to be a news episode, and then I'm going to do a House of the Dragon episode 2 breakdown coming out later than tomorrow, probably tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.